Welcome to the Prescription for Career Success podcast.
Nika, she says that I've been in operations for over a decade. I know that I have the leadership skills for a people strategy role, but I feel like a fraud applying for it because my background is all spreadsheets and supply chains. That's okay. How do I pivot my professional identity without feeling like I'm starting from zero? Okay. Nika, thanks again for your submission. When we talk about pivots, you have those skills, especially working in operations, right? You had to have those relationships with people, to build those connections, to gather all of that data, do those reports. And it's about focusing on that, in addition to all of the things you did from an operational leadership perspective. It's such a common hurdle. And I want to start by reframing how you look at those 10 years. You aren't just starting from zero. You're starting from experience, because all the things I said, because in leadership, we often see skills gap where there's actually just a translation gap. And that's probably what you're experiencing right now. So how do we, bridge that and audit your human metrics versus, all of those numerical and statistical data? So operations, you weren't just managing spreadsheets. Like I pointed out to you, you were managing the people who executed those processes. Did you improve retention? Did you coach a team through a merger? Like, just think about some of the things that you were doing in the projects that you led. These are part of people strategy, okay? And you were on work groups and teams, all of those things that you probably did not consider in terms of your resume. It was just part of the overall bigger picture. But when you dig down deep, you were connecting with people. And then when you look at the power of operationalized strategy and the level of impact that you have, especially from a strategic standpoint, leadership teams love a people strategist who actually understand how the business runs. And so you have that business acumen. One of those core skills that's going to be needed for you to understand how the role that people play in powering this organization. This is going to be, in my opinion, your superpower, right? This is that you know how to make culture initiatives work within the literal constraints of the company because you've managed the operations piece. You aren't just a dreamer, you're an architect. That's what you do in operations. And I just want you to update the narrative. Stop introducing yourself as the ops person. It's funny is that I have a background in the military, and I've served in several positions where I've been the operations person. The ops-o is what we call it in the Air Force. It's really kind of like the human resources, though. And so when you think about people and strategy from an HR standpoint and what I've done as an ops-o, I want to give you that same kind of perspective, right? How have you impacted the human element? And so much of what you have done ties into that, because the bottom line here, Nika, is that you don't need a new identity. It's just how you're describing yourself and how you translate what you do into this new area that you want to transition to, right? So you have the skills, you have the experience, but translate it, then also articulate it in how you tell your story.